Hello there, my little jellyfish, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Josh Talks to You, and you just kind of sit there and listen. Hey, Josh talks to himself. How about that? Today's episode, or whatever this episode decides to be, is about Transformers. You may be wondering, why are you talking about Transformers, Josh? This is like a very sudden topic. It's not exactly that sudden, because this morning, as I woke up and I saw that my bills were paid, I went to Amazon and I bought leader class Voyager Jetfire that was recently released, beginning September, I believe, or mid September on Amazon. That figure was being sold initially for $45. You know, average fare. That thing's standard. I did want it when I show, or rather when it was revealed, and I saw it on Amazon. I did put it on my wish list. You know, something to treat myself to. But I was being very watchful of my budget, so I put it off after it was released on Amazon. And shortly after it was released, like a week after, it went up to $60. Some prices went from an eye gouging 50 to a stomach crushing 60 to maybe even $70 on Amazon. It was insane. That immediately put me off because I do want the figure. I do like Jetfire and the Skyfire molds that were merged together, and I have watched several reviews. And I do like it. You know, I do like the figure itself, what it offers, but I was not willing to pay that price. No one is. That's insane. So I put it off. And then this morning, I signed up for, well, I found it on Amazon, and it was being sold for $42. And I said to myself, that is a great deal. I'm going to save $3. Fine. And then, in order to make it go faster, I said, let me just sign up for Amazon Prime using my college account, because I have a college email. And they said, like, first-time college people or first-time Prime users with a college email can sign up for Prime. And that's what I did. So I have Prime for 6 months starting from today. And it is the 3rd of October today. And that's why. Now, I ordered it. Plus tax, it was like $45. It was like I never really... it was like I never really got the sale anyway, but I did. And now it's coming on Wednesday. And I'm excited. So this leads me to my topic of... why do I like Transformers toys? Why are they so prominent in my life, and why are they such a fun hobby to be part of? Personally, I grew up with Transformers. Now that may be weird because I was born in 1995, November 1995, and you know, that's weird. Transformers was in the 80s, you know, G1 was in the 80s, but that was the series I watched. How, you may ask? My dad, bless his soul, love that man, he gave me, when I was very young, he had this feeling that I would just be very into robots, which I was. You know, like the old stuff, I was in the Power Rangers, so that immediately translated. But then I had several VHS tapes of Transformers, the G1 series from the 1980s, and I just grew to love them. I watched Beast Wars when it was on TV. Because granted, I lived in Saudi Arabia, so majority of the series that were showing were reruns of already ended shows in the US. So it worked out for me. I mean, I was watching vintage shows when everyone else was on other things. So I guess that helped me. And I watched G1. I watched uh, Beast Wars. I watched. Then I kind of had a gap because I don't really remember what else I watched from there. I know there were several Arabic dubs of Headmasters and Master Force and all that stuff. Um, I know that existed. They would say, I know I'm gonna butcher this, but whenever they would transform, I noticed they would say something like Dahawul or something, and and I just that's just something trivia, but um, I j- that's how I got started, and then I had like a break where I wasn't really watching Transformers, and then I went back into Transformers with Armada, then Energon, and then Cybertron. You know, those series, but they were English dub, as I did watch G1 English dub as well, and so I can kind of give opinions on each one of them. I would have to say, like G1 is obviously up there with the most nostalgia I have for Transformers, and that's totally fine. That's just a thing that you have to accept. But uh, out of the recent series, I pretty much liked Armada the most. Like G1, if you take G1 out of the equation, Armada is probably my most favorite. I did watch Prime. I kind of watched animated. You know, I've been a proponent. I've watched the movies. I do not like Michael Bay's movies, but I was just like, that man knows how to do explosions, but when it comes to coverage of Transformers, I don't really agree with a lot of the things he's doing, but that's just my opinion. Um, you know, so I was a Transformers kid. I was a geeky kid way back when, so I still am. So why figures? Toy collecting is a very expensive hobby, and I know that from a lot of experiences. And toy collecting is just really hard to do when you're on a budget, and you need to just find those figures that you can stick with. And right now, I had a lot of figures coming from Saudi Arabia because I my friends would order them for me, and then they would give them to me, then I would pay them back, that typical fare. But I had a lot of figures from Riyadh that I let go of. A lot of the Prime figures I just kind of gave away to. I gave them to Goodwill, or at least I gave them to my mom, who when we were moving away, like she gave away all my toys, and I only have the 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 Voyager Springer, the Voyager Blaster, and Prime Wheeljack. Because those molds are probably one of my favorite Transformers molds I've ever had. Blaster, just because Blaster is like one of my favorite Transformers. I fell in love with the fact that he could spawn basically an army of cassette tape fighters. That was the thing I fell in love with. Springer, just because I really liked the figure. I didn't really care about Springer in G1 and the seasons that followed it. Springer was just Springer. Always hitting on Ariel, whatever that may have been. It's whatever. And the Wheeljack, I just really like the Prime. What they did in Transformers Prime to Wheeljack was fantastic, and I really like that figure. It's just so good in every single way. And now here's the question. Josh, do you own masterpieces? Yes and no. What does that mean? When this will make you cringe, and I hate myself for this, but when I was around 7, we went into this a geek store basically in the mall in Las Piñas in the Philippines. That's where I lived. Went to a mall, and there was just this store that was just selling all these like anime geeky things, whatever, and they had Masterpiece Optimus Prime. They had him. You know, my dad paid. My dad kept convincing me that that is the one you should get. That is the one. That is the. My God, I wanted the smokescreen alternator Subaru. That's what I wanted. You know, smokescreen from that like obscure line that I kind of like, the alternators. Yeah, I wanted him in the Subaru form. That was 6,000 pesos. Keep that in mind. 6,000. It's not that bad. But, you divide that by 40. You get the clear number. So that was 6,000 pesos. Or pesos, whatever. And my dad kept saying, Josh, if you're going to get the 6,000 one, might as well get the 10,000 one. I didn't understand that. Because I thought initially I was saving money. But for some reason, my dad just kept saying, the 10,000 MP Optimus Prime is probably the best one for you. So he ended up convincing me to get the Optimus Prime. And so we did. It was either get the Optimus Prime and not get the Subaru, or not get the Subaru at all. I could not win. But I got the MP. And oh my God, the things I did with that toy. I love that toy. It was so accurate. I loved that he had one side would be communicating with, I forgot, Bumblebee, and the other side communicating with Starscream. And I love the Matrix. I love pulling that thing out and just like toying with it. This is where it gets sad. I left that toy in the Philippines because, I can't really take that back home to Riyadh. Next summer, the following summers after that, that toy is destroyed. Because other people live in that house. We had a pretty big house, but a lot of other people lived in that house. So my cousins were born. They were playing with it. Oh, it hurts my heart. It's still solid. It's still a solid figure, but that thing is missing its box. That thing is missing its matrix. It's missing everything. And oh my God. It's so sad, really. I'm regretful. I really want another Masterpiece Optimus, but I do not think I've earned it. It's just a personal thing. I don't think I've earned any other masterpiece at this point. I don't think I've earned it. I was a child, yes, but I still had it. I still had something that many collectors want. Way back when, and I don't know if I've earned it. I don't know if I've earned the right to even consider buying MP whatever. Is it MP20? I don't even know the numbers. We can go to TF Source right now, but I don't know if I have MP20 Wheeljack. I don't know if I've earned the right to even buy him, let alone considering Optimus Prime or Grimlock, if those ever get reissued and restocked. I don't know if I've earned the right. I disgraced that toy, and that's a thing that I've rarely admitted, is that yes, I did have an MP Optimus. And yes, whenever I look back, I always say, why didn't I just bring that toy back? That toy was beautiful. And man, this is a touchy subject for me, man. And so that's my conversation on why Transformers. They're fun. It's like a puzzle, but it's a puzzle that you figure out really fast, and then they just become action figures. It's a transitional stage for me. You know, you buy the Transformer, they're either in robot mode or vehicle mode when you get them. You transform them out of it, you transform them back. You do that over and over again until you perfect the method, and then that thing just sticks to you. And you could figure it out on your own, you know? There were a lot of Transformers that I had where I would just I would. Oh, and here's also another thing. This will also make you mad. I had, I had classic. I think I had the Henkei classic, Jazz, and Smokescreen. Yeah, I had those Henkei classics, and I ran those things into the ground. Jazz could not transform anymore, and Smokescreen was still well made. I have to say, Henkei Classic Smokescreen was probably the most solid Transformers figure I've ever owned. That thing was beaten, but it kept going. But Henkei Classic Jazz, the classic Jazz just did not. So those were also other things that my dad bought. My dad didn't buy them because he thought I was gonna conserve them. No, my dad bought them because I'm a geek. I was a geek back then, and I really liked Transformers. He knew that, and that's why he bought them. Yeah. So now I'm gonna transition to being that guy, but hopefully I can find jobs that will be able to sustain, because it's really just a one-time purchase. They're not like a monthly thing you have to maintain, You really, all you need is like a box or shelf space, and you're good. It's only a one-time purchase. You just have to make sure you balance the budget every now and then. So I think Voyager or Leader class Jetfire is probably going to be my last purchase in the near future. I mean, I've been looking at like the other generations, like Crosscut and like the weird Transformers that are coming out for like less than $20. No, if anything, this is the thing. I do not know if I want to go into third parties, but that's going to be another topic for another day. But right now, thank you for listening to my rant on Transformers. I love Transformers. I'll still keep watching or keep tabs on the latest iterations of Transformers. I'll still try to look for toys that I feel are worthy purchases. But definitely I'm going to balance my budget. Hopefully, Leader class Jetfire comes back, and then I can totally mess with him and love him for what he is. And hopefully there's another figure that comes out where I just love it. So, and I find it worthy of my budget. But thanks again, you guys, for listening. Again, you are weird, but I thank you if you're listening all the way through this. This is just my rants. These are just my thoughts. And if you really like them, well, thank you. I know you've probably been staring at my face for a long time. I appreciate it, But thanks again. And till next time. We're going to be talking about probably third-party figures and what I think of them. So, thanks again.